Hey there, in today's video, I'm going to try and answer the question, what on earth am I doing on YouTube? I'm making this video because it's New Year's 2024 and everyone is taking stock, including me. And in this video, I'm going to go through YouTube, why I started, what I've learned, what on earth am I playing at. And I've no idea how long the video will take, so there's chapter marks down below, so you can skip on through to the bits you might be interested in. Let's get going. I started making YouTube videos because I'm well aware of how great running is. I love it's got loads of benefits for your physical and your mental health. But for some reason, I'm not able to just go out and run. I need some sort of plan. And in 2014, I decided that I would turn James Joyce's 4 major works into half marathons. And I created a website called JJ21K, discovered Dublin by reading and running. And so I decided this would be a way of getting out to do some more running, and I'd run around the city and I compared the city of today to when Joyce wrote about it. That was my loose idea. But as I got more into the James Joycery, and if you watch this, you know how obsessive I can get, I'd spend a year in the library just writing one blog post, going through endless James Joycery. And so that was one problem, and I just wasn't fit enough. And in order to run the last of my James Joyce half marathons, I had to run out from Dublin city centre and over Howth Head, which, you know, I would find relatively easy now. Back then I wasn't. So I just decided that I needed a challenge and I needed to get fitter. And so I've been in the library a lot and I needed to get out a bit more. So I thought, yeah, I need a new challenge, and came up with the idea of starting a YouTube channel. The idea crystallized as I was running along the Cumberland River in Nashville, Tennessee on New Year's Eve 1999 going into 2020. I had just bought myself what was then a new pair of Hoka Carbon X's, not much left of them now, and I was really enjoying running along. And I find running you get ideas, and so it started to crystallize as I ran along the levee. Beautiful run, and I decided to set up a YouTube channel about running. What would it be about? People say if you're writing a book, write about what you know, and I decided to be about running and gear and design. Running would be the purpose. Gear, my uncle used to call me a GLF, a gadget loving, you can guess the rest. And design, well, I have 40 years plus experience as a designer. Put them all together and you've got the design of running gear seen through the lens of an older runner. That was the plan in a nutshell view. Now at this stage, I'd never mind have a GoPro. That changed quite dramatically. I'd never used Adobe Premiere Pro. That changed. I was handy with a Canon, like I knew how to use a camera, and I'm always trying to learn stuff and I like challenging myself. So yeah, in July 1st, 2020, I put out my first video. You will all know that in between these two dates of New Year's Eve and July 1st, 2020, COVID started, and yes, we went into lockdown. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos about filmmaking, about YouTube, and about tech. I started shoe-tubing during lockdown. My first video was about 5 running shoes. I only had 5 pairs of running shoes, so that was really very simple. It got more complicated after that. And I started running fairly seriously, including running my first marathon during COVID whilst wearing a mask. And thankfully COVID lockdowns passed, but yeah, I still kept running along. When I was running along in Nashville, I chose the title Old Man Runner. I was running by the river, and how things work. And I was thinking about my dad and how he loved Paul Robeson and the song Old Man River from Showboat. Check out Paul Robeson. What an amazing man he was. But my dad loved that song, and it was running around my head as I ran along the Cumberland River. The Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. And well, I like bad puns. So yeah, I decided to call it Old Man Runner. I figured I'd grow into it. I had the name Old Man Runner, and I'm now 60, but I don't feel old, but I do plan to be. That's the plan. We'll see how we get on. And I figured I'd grow into the name and into the channel. That was my basic idea. And in hindsight, it's not the best name to attract viewers. I think perhaps people don't want to be associated with that kind of idea, but it doesn't bother me, and I'm not changing it. And the real reason I'm not changing it, or probably the main reason, is that Old Man in Ireland, at least, is a term of affection that we used to call my dad. And so, yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, no. When my dad died, he sent me this letter. It was very strange. I got this letter from my dad. And it told me how much he loved me. Now, my brother and sister also got the same letter, pretty much. So, yeah, that was really good. So, yeah, the name ain't changing. So here are some of the things I've learned in no particular order. So you start seeing comments on your videos. I think Raj Kumar, you might have been the first, but it was great. I mean, you start seeing comments, and I didn't realize at the start how enjoyable they can be. They're probably the best part of YouTube. Even, I mean, most people are kind, too kind sometimes, I think, but most people are kind. Some are odd. So you get an odd, well, I thought it was odd. There was a guy saying that I didn't know anything about, and he could have been right there, but he said I didn't know anything about these shoes and you could run in these shoes, but by the way, he wasn't a runner. And I was thinking, well, if you haven't run in it, anyway, I found that just odd, but it was fair, and it was spoken very politely. So that was kind of cool. Some of the comments are cruel, some are very cruel, and some are unkind, but even some of those, they're right. And you have to take it on the chin. You have to find your voice. When I was beginning to write a dissertation once, I asked one of the dissertation supervisors in the university, what he was looking for. He said he's looking for, first things first, people find your voice. You have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You might be rubbish, but you can be your own rubbish, because if you're not authentic, well, I don't know what you are, but you gotta be authentic. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's a guy called Forrest makes 60-second things about cars. I love them. I just think they're fantastic. They're really succinct and they're really watchable. But yeah, I can't make those kind of videos. I can only make the videos I can make. I spend a lot of time trying to avoid groupthink and consensus opinions. I do that because I don't want to read other people's opinions and then parrot out the same stuff. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'll be able to get a pair of Alphafly 3s, at least order them tomorrow. They'll come at some point in time, hopefully for the next video. And then I will make my own opinions on them so that I can kind of figure them out for myself. Now, I don't mind being wrong. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is where I would read what someone else said and I start saying the same thing. I mean, again, to get back to the previous comment, my comments might be rubbish, but they're my rubbish. And I find I've bought a lot of stuff on YouTube from reviews, and everyone's reviewing the same thing. And this is non-shoe stuff because I don't watch the shoe stuff anymore, pretty much to avoid, again, groupthink. Sometime later on, I will regularly read a video or watch a video. Well, probably don't watch the video, but I might read a review of shoes from last year. So see what people thought about shoes that I ran in or didn't run in, and whether they were the same or not. So I do that. But I've bought so many things on YouTube, not shoes, but camera equipment largely, things, lights and various bits and pieces that all sorts of people have reviewed favorably, and it turns out to be not all that good. And so I'm trying to avoid all of that. A big lesson is you can't be afraid to fail. Everything you put up is pretty much public, and when you fail very publicly. And I've made loads of mistakes on YouTube. There's not one video I've made that I didn't think could have been better. Most of that doesn't really matter. Sometimes you say something really stupid. In hindsight, you realize how stupid. I can think of one particularly, but I try not to. But you put it up, and you're going to put it up, and next week you get another shot at it. And I think that's actually quite a good life lesson of, fail again, fail better. You've got to put the time in. It takes a long time to make a YouTube video. Funnily enough, shoe reviews don't take me that amount of time. I've kind of got a formula of sorts by now, and so they're kind of easy to do. This kind of video is really difficult to do because you're making it up, not as you go along. There's a script and things, but you're playing around with it, and it's new territory. So that's kind of. But any of the videos I make, they take at least a day. I mean, that's a day just doing the filming. I mean, for instance, I'm going to be making one about nutrition, and I'm going to have to eat my way through a lot of stuff. So there's energy gels from Decathlon, there's Torque, there's Tesco's, there's Sport Beans, there's a whole load of stuff. There's a whole box that arrived in from Precision Fuel. I'm looking forward to that. There's Kendall Mint Company, there's lots of that, and hopefully more on the way. So there's that side of things, just the sort of content, and then there's the making of it. But yeah, it takes me at least a full day, and I mean a full day, to make videos. So, but it's my hobby. So, I mean, I really enjoy it. It's not a chore. It's something that I love. I'd rather spend the evening doing this than watching Netflix. But I mean, I'll watch Netflix here and there. But I'd rather do this and try and do it to the best of my ability. But you've got to put the time in. By way of example, the sort of snapshots of pictures I took of myself during COVID, which I was doing randomly during COVID. I wasn't really thinking about that. That took me, probably took a full day to figure out, to get the pictures and then pop them into the right place and then resize them and then learn how to do masks and blah, 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 blah. That probably took a whole day, but yeah. Mightn't have been worth it for you, but it certainly was really well worth it for me. YouTube is a search engine, or as I like to think of it, it's a push and pull engine. So the first thing you do is you pull something out. So you search for, say, a video on the Alphafly 3, and you get a video of the Alphafly 3. So then it figures out, so you've pulled something, and then YouTube's gonna push you stuff. So it's gonna push you Vaporfly 3 videos. And that's kind of how it works. And so I make a lot of videos that have a lot of personal content that no one would be particularly searching for. There's many of the videos that I do, people aren't searching for that content. What you're hoping is that people will watch something about the Alphafly 3 and then think, oh, that was interesting enough, and then hang around and watch some of the others. And how that works is you can see that when I put out a video, people watch this video by way of example, it'll do quite well at the start, and then it'll die off because nobody will be searching for this video. So it will die a quiet, ignoble death like most of my videos, and that's fine with me. One thing I learned this year was I could make a video about stuff I didn't have. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff and I really do enjoy testing stuff, but I discovered I made a video about the Alphafly 3 and another one about the Adizero Pro Evo 1. I'm not sure if I got all those words in the right order, but essentially I made a couple of videos about those two shoes. And lots of people watched them. Certainly lots more people watch some of those videos than shoes that I actually have. So you don't have to have the stuff to make the videos. You start making videos and you think people will send you stuff. And I suppose I thought I would get running shoes. That's what I thought I'd do. I'd send things and people might send me some running shoes. Now, if you have loads and loads of viewers and loads of subscribers and loads of views, people probably send you stuff. But for me, I got sent some random stuff out of the blue, effectively. A lot of tech stuff initially. So headphones, a variety of headphones and the two rings, which are actually really like wearing these two. And so I got those, and then I also got sent some stuff by SaySky. They sent me a bunch of stuff randomly, just out of the blue. Just, we like what you're doing. They sent me a whole load of stuff, and it was really, really nice. That was really nice to get. I tried contacting various shoe companies, and I'm not trying to get people to send me free stuff. That's not what I'm about. But it would be good to be able to get stuff and pay for it and have it arrive and have it reviewed so that when it gets released in general release, and that hasn't happened yet, and that would be nice. But yeah. People send you some random stuff. You set up a running channel and then you get injured. You have to plan for that. I mean, you know that's going to happen. I mean, injuries are part of the runner's journey. And when you're an older runner, you're expecting more injuries. And then you're never quite sure what the last injury is going to be. So you have to have a plan, a sort of plan for when the running isn't quite working out. And luckily enough, even though I had a lot of weeks off last year injured, I still managed to pop out a video every week. On YouTube, I don't worry about the people who don't watch my videos. I worry about the people who do. Now, what I mean by that in the nicest possible way, and I'm not a big worrier, it's just that I'm trying to make better videos for the people who watch them. I know that people watch the videos recurring. I'm trying to make better videos for them. And if other people join in and watch stuff, that's great. But I'd rather worry about the people who already watch my videos than chasing the ones who don't. So who watches these videos? Well, you obviously, and I'm grateful for that. And YouTube provides you with loads of statistics, but just to be clear, you're not a statistic, not to me anyway. So that's the important bit, but statistics are really interesting. YouTube provides you with a dashboard in which there are a whole load of statistics. You could analyze them to death. Thankfully, I don't. I have other statistics to analyze. And yeah, I've made 220 or more than 220 videos to date. The least popular video had 47 views. I think that was about, it might have been about nutrition for the virtual Chicago Marathon. I don't know if it was any good, but anyway, and I suspect of the 47, at least 46 are me. Maybe 47. But yeah, that was my least popular video. The most popular video was about this shoe, which is the Nike Fly Ease. And that had 34,932 viewers as of today. And it's still a really popular video, even though I made that video a couple of years ago. And one I made this year about the GoPro Hero 12 had 123 views. I thought that'd be a lot more popular, but sometimes you can have all the statistics in the world and you still don't know why people watch or don't watch. YouTube uses various methods to figure out what is going to push to you. It figures out the pull fairly easily because you've asked it. But to figure out the push, there's various things. And one of them is the click-through rate. And that's how often someone clicks on the thumbnail that YouTube has shown them. And my highest rate was for the Fly Ease at 12.8 And I think some of that is because I still look at it, it's a really interesting thumbnail. I think that's from 2021. So, and it's still getting views. So it's the highest. And I think it is because the thumbnail is really good. It's accidental, but it's really good. I didn't like the look of it myself. If I looked at my next most popular video, the Alphafly 2 versus the Vaporfly 3, 6.8% of people click through. In my Withings video was the next one, it had 26,000 views, I think. It has 7.6% of people clicking through. It's a video that I have no idea why so many people watched it, but about 18,000 or more people watched my shorts lined versus unlined. And it's still, I mean, people are still watching it, and it's from 2020. And it was so popular, at one point in time was the most popular by a long way, that I decided to try and recreate it several times, even almost identical thumbnail, almost identical title, and not that many people watch the next one. So I'm not sure I know a huge amount, and I care, but not that much. Oddly enough, the On Cloud Flyer waterproof was the worst thumbnail I thought I ever made, and it has a 7.8% click through. What do I know? I made it in the shower in a hurry, and it really it's strange that video not many people watched at the start, and of course what happens is sometimes not many other people review that shoe, and I've discovered that actually with the Nike one I reviewed, the Infinity RN4 GTX, is that if there's not that many reviews out there and people are looking to buy the shoe, then that's helpful. So yeah, I mean, the On Cloud Flyer, which I've stopped wearing, I really enjoyed the videos. I ran in the centre of Dublin. I'm running in the centre of Dublin. It's one of my favourite pieces when I'm making video films. Not one of my favourite shoes, but it was one of my favourite pieces to make. And you're in the centre of town, and it was during COVID, so there weren't that many people around. But I had a GoPro on a stick, and I'm kind of run away from it. And then I see someone approaching the GoPro, so I'm thinking, gosh, at this stage I only had a couple of GoPros. And I run over and I grab it, and some guy starts, anyway, he starts. The centre of Dublin isn't as great as it used to be, and he starts, and where he didn't tell me he was not going to stick that GoPro in my body, well, those parts don't exist. Yeah, I got a fair going over from, hey, when you're a runner in centre town, and you do what you do naturally, you run. The most popular videos are all about Nike shoes, or sometimes ASICS, sometimes Adidas, but typically they're about shoes. That's what people are searching for. It's the same thing on the search engine. They're looking for shoes. And I really do like making shoe reviews, and I like to review all sorts of shoes. Another type of video people like to watch are marathon reviews. And that's because there's so many people in them. And one of the things about these, so in Chicago, I reviewed the Chicago Marathon, the Berlin Marathon, the New York Marathon. I did Rotterdam, and I probably did a couple of others along the way. And but they're the sort of major ones that people would watch. And so the thing about those kinds of reviews is people watch them each year. So 7,469 watched my Chicago one, and then so on down. But every year, some people will be entering Chicago, they'll look at that again. And so it is really good if you can make videos that people will watch over and over again. I suppose if you made bakery recipes, then people might watch that over and over again. But for the kind of stuff I do, not typical, but marathon reviews, they do. YouTube's algorithm loves the like button. And that's why you hear all sorts of people, including me, saying, hit the like button. And so I don't like doing it as it happens, but I just learned that that's what you're supposed to do. So I kind of do it at the end, kind of when people can switch off. But anyway, I do. And it's interesting because you see that some videos have dislikes, and you go, who would dislike? But it turns out as a proportion, it's really tiny. So the most likes I ever got was 348 for my Flyees, and 16 didn't like it. And out of the number of viewers, that's less than 1%. But the most liked video that I did was the Alphafly 2 versus the Vaporfly 3 at 427 likes. So you can probably see why the Alphafly 3 versus Vaporfly 3 will be coming along. But actually, I'm looking forward to making that video. So that is one of the things. So you get these metrics. I don't get too hung up on them. It's no surprise that most of the people who watch my videos come from English-speaking countries, and they come from the larger of those countries. So the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, that's all very common, falling down to Ireland. And actually, I think countries that don't have English as a first language are higher than Ireland. So people who are multilingual, obviously. But one of the things I'm really interested in is the age group. So I suppose I thought initially when I started out that people would be, older runners, but that's actually not the case. So 18 to 22, it's 7.9%. 34% of my viewers. 25 to 34 is 34.3% of my viewers. 35 to 44 is 32.8%. 45 to 44 is 32.8%. 45 to 54 is about 19%. And of my age group, it's only 5.7%. And that's kind of nice. I mean, but that's probably, it reflects more people who run. What is really interesting is actually if you flip the dynamic and look at who looks at the views or looks at the videos for longest, it's the older people, and it directly it goes down. So whether that is because younger people have a lower attention span, think of my students, or whether it's that people who are older have more free time, I don't know. But it is one of the things. One of the things that is really satisfying is that the viewership, there's, I think it's 7.6% are female, and they watch for 8% of the time, and that's always nice, because you're hoping that people, it's not just people like you watch your videos, and it's not always possible to review stuff that would be for female viewers, because the shoe sizes are different, and there's various other products that you can't review. But yeah, the wider, the more varied the audience, the better from my point of view. What am I planning for YouTube in 2024? Well, firstly, thankfully, I don't have YouTube burnout. I watched a lot of videos this year, and certainly recently, of people who've got YouTube burnout. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. I still make them in around all the regular work things and things I do, but it is my main hobby, I suppose, and does provide me with the reason for running. So I am still going to make a video every week, but I'm going to have to make a couple of different changes as I go along. I'm not really concerned with the view numbers. Yes, I'd like them to be bigger. You'd like them to be bigger. That's natural, but I'm not really, it's not something that's big on my horizon. If it was, I'd buy a cat. And I mean, I like cat videos as much as the next guy. But yeah, if you want to make videos that just people watch, I'd buy a cat. But I'm more interested in making videos about stuff that interests me, and hopefully that interests you. That's what I'm kind of doing. I'm trying to figure out stuff for myself and learn something as I go along, that I'm guessing that's pretty much what everybody's trying to do. So yeah, I'm going to try and make more of those kind of videos. There are various different video types you can play around with on YouTube, and I did a bit more playing around this year. So there's these sort of standard videos are I call them long videos, but long form videos. I plan still to do the same ones, but change them up a little bit, but I plan to do that and release them at the same time. That suits my work schedule. This year, and maybe last year as well, I made some YouTube shorts to take a long time to do. I mean, I enjoyed doing them, but there's a technical challenge in them. They took a long time to do. It seems to take me a long time to do all the videos, but they took a long time to view. You can do some live videos. I might try that. I have a few ideas. You can do posts. So this year I put up a lot of posts, which are just like simple little, I use them as sort of, sometimes I did polls, which are quite good. Might do a poll tomorrow about the infamous Alpha 3 at this stage. But I did some posts. My most liked post of this year, there were 44 likes, was me looking incredibly grumpy at the end of the New York City Marathon. I typically take selfies of myself at the end of all the marathons, and so I go out I get the monopod, and I get the phone, and I try and go out. And most places it's easy enough, but by the time I got to New York, at the finish of New York, because it took all day, it was I was tired, I won't lie, but it was getting dark, and so I was needing to get some reflected light out of a window just to take this selfie. And of course, you've got to stand away from the thing and bearing in mind you're in the city and all that. What happened to me in Dublin? So I'm standing there and I'm concentrating, and there's people keep walking away, and you're trying to get the timing right, and I got it all wrong, and I looked incredibly grumpy. I wasn't, but I looked incredibly grumpy. Anyway, I was concentrating. That's my mantra. I'm not grumpy, I'm concentrating. Anyway, yeah, that was my most popular. And then I'm going to try and do some more playlists. I did one, the New York City Marathon. Anyway, there's a playlist, but it was essentially songs of the New York City Marathon. You can do some podcasts. I think maybe turn the playlist into podcasts. I don't know, but I'll play around with a couple more video types in 2024. The biggest change that I'm making, that I didn't really want to make, and I spent a long time thinking about this, was to turn the monetization on certain videos. And I'll try and explain why, and I've been really resistant, but I'll explain. You can monetize your YouTube videos and earn revenue at about 1,000 subscribers. I think you have to have 4,000 watch hours. I'm not sure, those might have changed. But you know, I resisted monetization for a long period of time. I pay for a YouTube subscription, so I don't see any ads, but I didn't want, once I monetize the various videos, I think viewers have to see more ads unless, like me, they have a YouTube subscription. So I didn't really want to force more ads on you guys, more than you already have. That didn't seem like what I wanted to do. So I decided to monetize some videos on the second day. So once they've been up for a day or 500 views, something like that anyway, I'll get around to turning it on. And that was what I thought, so that people who watch the videos regularly, it should have no difference because it'll be a day later, that kind of thing. That's my loose idea. Now I might be wrong in all this and I'm willing to listen to suggestions, but that's what I thought. Now Liam, my running buddy, says that if I do this, he thinks that YouTube will then send more content to more people. I don't know. I don't actually think it's like that. And I'm not doing this because I have a regular day job. I have a day job that I like doing and I intend to keep doing. That's the first thing. And this is not a side hustle. I'm not trying to make a side hustle. This is just a bit of interest, and if it pays, I'd be surprised at the rate it's going at the moment. I think I might get, and based on the number of views and what I know about monetization on YouTube, maybe I'll get €1 a day. Maybe I'll buy a pair of shoes. Who knows? But anyway, I decided to do it. And again, I'm always trying to find out stuff. I might review less stuff in 2024. I have lots of stuff and I don't throw it out very often. I mean, I tend to keep everything. And I suppose my original plan was if people sent me a lot of stuff, I would downstream more of it in through the secondhand stores and stuff like that. But people haven't been sending me a lot of stuff, which is fine. As I said earlier, I would like to get stuff early so I could review it when they come out. I contacted various people, contacted Nike, Hoka, Asics. I got nowhere. And I contacted them saying I'm not looking for free shoes, but it would be nice to get them early so you could review them so that they came out when everyone else's came out. But that was one of the things I would like to do, but I probably will end up reviewing less shoes. I had thought if they sent me stuff, then I would just fire them off to be redistributed a lot quicker. But anyway, that didn't happen. So I think in 2024, rather than have piles and piles of t-shirts and piles of hats and all that, I'll probably review less of those. One thing I want to do in 2024 is visit more countries and film running in those various countries. I'm going to Boston for 2024. I'm going to the UK I'm going to the running show in Birmingham, which I'm looking forward to in January. And I don't know if I'll have much time I probably won't make a running video, but we'll make a video of the running show. But I will go back later in the year for some more runs that I'm planning to do. And I've got a couple of more countries that I'm planning to visit and hopefully make a couple of the things about running in various different countries. And I really do enjoy doing that. Something I did last year, I don't know if anybody noticed, but I started to introduce some AI. Need to get some intelligence in. So I used it for some thumbnails last year. So sometimes, again, with shoes I didn't have, I had to sort of figure out how to do it. So I'm always trying to learn more Adobe stuff, whether it's Photoshop, trying to get better at Photoshop. I'm not very good at Photoshop. Learn more Premiere Pro. I'm reasonably handy at Premiere Pro. After Effects, all these kinds of things. Trying to learn more of those. So I'm hoping to do that. And because I live in a tiny house, more of that later, I'm hoping to have more background in Premiere Pro so it doesn't look like I'm standing in front of this all the time. But we'll see. I don't know. That may or may not pan out. I bought a drone, so I'm hoping to have more drone footage. I'm slowly learning how to fly the drone. It appeared in one video so far. It's I'm flying the drone. I mean, I filmed it here from going up and down. I filmed some shoots. I mean, most people, they get a drone, they go out and they film landscapes. No, I filmed shoes. So I filmed the row of shoes. I crashed twice. I live in a tiny house. It's 6 meters long. It's 11 feet wide. It's 2.5 stories high and has one room. So it is kind of, it's a tiny house, and so I don't have a lot of flying room with my drone. I know my house is 6 meters long because I ordered a handrail, and a guy was supposed to. Anyway, he came around when I wasn't here. He's supposed to put it in the backyard, and I came in. I couldn't get into the house, and I was trying to open the door, and then I realized he posted this 6 meter long handrail in through my letterbox, and it had fallen in through the stairs. Stairs is open threads. Hit the back wall, and then when I came, I couldn't open the door because it dropped down, blocking the thing. It took a while to get in. So that's how I know my house is 6 meters long. And yeah, so I'm gonna do some AI so that I can maybe make the house look a bit bigger. I started making running videos originally to supplement what I was trying to do with my James Joyce related running. I was trying to do some, get me some short-term goals to get fit to allow me to run my James Joyce runs, which I managed to do. And then I wanted to learn more about filming so that when I come to filming those runs, the 4 half marathons that I want to do that. And so I got a drone, partly to, you know, film shoes that I get and make some of the videos more interesting, partly to learn, but primarily to film some of my James Joyce parts, which will be outside of the house. Now I know so far I've managed to film my bookshelves. Who buys a drone to film bookshelves? Me, obviously, and a line of shoes, and I crashed twice when doing that into Quinn, who's over there wearing my my mannequin wearing my New York poncho, but luckily it fouled up. But it was fine. I really mind. But that is, yeah, I'm planning to make more James Joyce related videos, and it's going to take me a long time. These are like anything to do with James Joyce takes a long time, so they may appear more on this channel as well, or the making of them, and it'll involve flying a drone around Dublin where I can and doing various things. So yeah, there'll be some of those videos will make it through here. In 2024, I'm going to continue to make videos that I enjoy making, that test me while I test stuff that hopefully you'll enjoy watching. I really do appreciate that people watch the videos. I know everyone's got so many other things they could be doing, and it is really, yeah, it's surprising, but it is really appreciated. And have a great 2024.